Welcome to another session of Sunday Setups. Today we'll be going through pairs, looking at the week ahead. Of course, if you haven't already, be sure to check out letcapital.co.uk. A lot of new features available for new traders, for people who are looking to take their game to the next level. A lot of cool features on here. A lot of good educational advice as well to check out on our courses, along with our cryptocurrency market cap. A lot of you may be into crypto and you may be understanding. Some of you may not have looked into the market, but cryptos are on the rise and there's a lot of things to really invest your money into. So it's very important you guys learn, invest and trade. That being said, we're going to look at the week ahead. We don't really have much standing out to us coming towards the start of the week, Monday and Tuesday. We've got the unemployment rate for the pound, of course, on Tuesday. The Fed speaking on Tuesday. This is also going to be a volatile session for the dollar. Going into Wednesday, we have CPI based with, again, we have the Fed speaking with the minutes. And then on Thursday, we've got the Governor Lowe's speech, which probably isn't really going to do much for the Aussie. Who knows? PMI for the euro, and moving towards the end of the day, the Fed speaking again. So the Feds are really going to be in control of the week, and that really does coincide with what we're going to look at today. But before we end that off, on Friday, we've got the European monetary policy, which can cause some volatility within the market. So we're going to start off by looking at the DXY. Now, a lot of you may know that the dollar index, of course, does dictate the strength of the dollar, and it shows you the currencies that are in favor. Well, it shows you, the majors, the direction of the majors. So for instance, if the DXY is up, then GBP USD will be down. Okay, AUD USD will be down. So it's very easy for us to get a bias on major pairs based on understanding the dollar index. So before you look at the AUD or any other major pair, what's best to do is have a look at the DXY, figure out what's the direction of the DXY. Where is it showing you prices are potentially able to reach? Okay, and the first thing we want to do is highlight the areas of liquidity, and we can see we've got some areas above. Okay, another round of fiscal stimulus is here, if not around the corner. Interest rates are still decreasing, so the fiscal stimulus is in play, and we're seeing more reasons why the dollar is going to be pumped up. Of course, economies are trying to get back to normal. That's not to say they won't receive a second round of the coronavirus and things won't get worse, but in order for price to move lower, it has to go higher. In order for price to move higher, it has to come lower first. So we're in favor of a move to the downside, but prior to that, we'd just like to see these equal highs taken out above. It would be really nice to see the dollar jump above 101. It hasn't really been above this area for some time. The last time we had price above there was back in March, when we had that decline after that massive push up. So we really now want to pay attention to see what can happen this week. There's a lot of news events based around the Fed speaking, so this could give us the push that we're looking for up, and then wick to the downside, coming down. And of course, providing this does come down, this is really going to give us strong buys on the AU and GU. Looking at Euro Enter D, we had a really strong week last week. Of course, prior to that, we had a very bearish week. So it's all really about trying to find the levels you're trying to buy from. Now, these green lines, these green zones you're seeing on my screen, they're institutional levels. Okay, and how we found those institutional levels, you're going to have to jump into the Discord, inquire for some mentoring, and you'll find out exactly how we're ascertaining these levels we're buying and selling from. There are some students on the call, you'll know exactly how we're buying and selling from these levels. So we really want to see price. We want to see price take out these equal highs. Okay, notice guys, I'm looking at things on the daily because I've already done my top-down analysis. Okay, I've made things pretty much just clickable for me to go onto the chart, tell you what's going on, and that way we can save a lot of time as well. So we're wanting to see the prices come higher, take out these equal highs, grab some more liquidity. There's an institutional candle here. you know, which would coincide with an order block. So we want to see prices reject the 70% level on our fib, which would give us multiple confluences. But we can only really wait until the market opens to see, of course, the direction and what's going to happen throughout the week. We have got some high impact news on Tuesday for the euro. I believe it was Tuesday. Tuesday. Okay, no, it wasn't Tuesday. Excuse me. We had the high impact news on Thursday with the PMI. So we're really going to wait to see what happens in regards to the directional bias being formed. So come Tuesday, of course, we always sit on the sidelines on Monday. So we'll wait to see what happens in terms of the direction of the market, where the areas of liquidity are still untouched, and of course we'll go from there. But ultimately, if price does hit my level around here, around the 70%, I will be monitoring to see what price does. Because if it does reject this area, we'll be looking to go short. Moving on to AUD USD, you know, we've got a nice swing trade we've had open for quite some time, but this was the sell that we sent out last week. So if you jumped on this call last week Sunday, you would have been given the same sell setup. Okay, you can see the drawdown on this was probably about 33 pips, if that. 30. Let's see. Excuse me. 28 pip drawdown. Okay, and for everyone trading underlit capital, our average is a 35 pip stop. So it's been a really nice trade to the downside. We're well over 100 pips. To everyone who caught this trade on Sunday, what we'd actually seen was price came lower. Okay, came down about 100, if not 75 pips. It then retraced upwards, which gave you a second entry. Okay, you guys should have been able to catch 2 entries on this trade. Okay. And then come lower. So with that being said, you should be well over 270 pips in profit just by twin trading this, and of course taking the trade on the re-entry. And we really want to see it come lower. Of course, this coincides with what I said earlier on about the dollar. If the dollar can push higher, we're going to see the AU. We're going to see AU push lower. And really, all we're looking for is for price to come low enough so that we could buy. Now, you know, if price came to as low as these areas beneath here, around the 0.62 handle, if price could come to $0.62, that would really give us the best area to buy from. But you know, with that being said, there's a lot of news coming out over the next 2 to 3, if not over the next coming weeks. There's a lot of news that's going to have high impact on the market. So, you know, ultimately we've seen a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. The market has now failed to make a new high. So this could be now the low to push up to make a new lower high for the market to continue coming lower. So we're going to wait to see what happens throughout the open. Ultimately, if price does push higher, if we go down to a 4-hour, if price pushes higher, we can see already we've had the failed high down to the lower high, and we've had it coming all the way to the point where now there's another area here of liquidity. We want to see how price is going to react. Because ultimately there's areas above we can sell from. It's just about waiting to see what happens. We're still in the short, so we're not looking to buy just yet. Of course, we'd want price to come a lot lower, but if we do get that retracement, okay, if the retracement comes back up to the same area, we'll be looking to short. Okay, if the retracement can come up, if I just take the fib quickly, if the retracement can come up, you know, around the 70% handle, you know, anywhere above 62% is, you know, our preferred area to take the trade. If it doesn't come above the 62%, we won't even consider taking another short entry on this. And GA, if I just go into the weekly chart, you know, we've spoken about GA coming down for quite some time. We've seen it's you know, given us what we want. We can see that now with the market forming a very bearish sell to the downside. We just want to see now the pullback. Okay, the pullback's going to give us that opportunity to go short. With that being said, if we're looking at the overall picture, the bearish structure has broken. So, you know, we're wanting prices to come as low as, you know, the 79%, if not lower. Ideally, we'd be looking to buy around the 79%. There's still a possibility we can get a reaction off of the 62%. We've got 2 institutional levels within both, so we'd look to buy off of either level, but The only reason why I'd be mindful of this level is because I'd be looking at the equal lows beneath. Okay, equal lows equals liquidity. So I'd always be mindful that where there's liquidity, price can still come lower to grab. But at the same time, where price has been so bearish, we have a saying, if it's fast, it won't last. So, what we're looking at to see is really just the reversal to wipe a lot of the sellers out of the game before it continues to come lower, so that we can have a sell to buy scenario. So, we're going to be patient with GA. If we weren't in the trade, which we wasn't, we've just literally got to watch it and see what happens. GU, this is also another pair which, we've had a very nice, profitable few months with this pair, but ultimately we know this is bearish. Okay, we know there's a lot going on within Britain combined with America. But with that being said, again, we're looking at just solely the direction of the DXY. If I just split screen quickly and go to the DXY, okay, so on the weekly, we can see that we've had, if I just delete this, we had this short little burst to the downside prior to the market closing, but we can see the DXY is up, and of course, GU is down. So if what time frame is this? Is an hour. There we go. Sorry, guys. So if the DXY is going to continue pushing higher, okay, around these areas, or just just above 101. If the DXY can break 101, okay, then GU is going to come even lower. Now, we could potentially see a new low for GU. Okay, this is already the new all-time low. I don't think prices will come that low. That's a further 600 pips to the downside. But ultimately, the lower it comes, the better advantage we have to buy. So I'm not going to complain if we do get a new low. But we also just want to, be mindful of what's happening throughout the week with the pound, combined with the dollar. Stay tuned for our Pip Talk podcast, which is usually a fundamental update combined with technical analysis, which will really give you guys an in-depth review on what's happening within the market. And with that being said, I will leave you guys with just US30. This isn't really a pair I like to go over much, simply because it's a higher risk. But with the US economy inputting a new fiscal stimulus, what this is going to do is input some more money into the economy, which is just really going to push US30 up. So, again, we want to be mindful that this was the last high, price came lower, fell to make a new low, fell to make a new high. So this was the lower high and price came lower. From here up to here, of course, it made a new low. So, price took the liquidity that was beneath him. So we potentially now could see price come higher to take out this lower high, if not rival it, and work off of this down candle or create a new equal high. But it's very interesting because, of course, at the moment, markets are shut, and who knows, come Tuesday, Donald Trump can send a tweet. We can hear that there's more money coming into the economy, and before you know it, the US 30 is just pumped up, 1,000 pips. So we want to be mindful. The weekly time frames kind of showing us that although we've had a massive move to the downside, we're slowly but surely creeping back up to positive numbers. And we did catch a nice short from the 25 handle. So we want to be mindful now to see if price can push back up to this area. If so, then there's no reason why price shouldn't continue coming higher and really come back to levels around this institutional level, around this institutional level here, which is the 26,000. That's me done for the week. I do believe Jacob just jumped into the call, or not just jumped in, but I believe you're here. What's good, Jacob?
How you doing, bro?
I'm blessed. It's pretty quiet on your end. You got pairs to go through, yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm literally just doing the markups now, so I'm actually likely to just place them in the Discord.
Sure, no worries. Your camera's on, by the way. I can just see your hair.
Oh, yeah.
But
my bad.
That's cool, guys. That'll be it for this week. Be sure to check out the Discord channel if you haven't already. Click the link in our bio. Thanks for watching and have a good week.